Abraham Lincoln, he accomplished a whole bunch of things. Abraham Lincoln is the father of the Republican Party. It was just a bunch of Whigs. It was a bunch of Federalists and Whigs before goddamn Abraham Lincoln and the Republican Party came on the scene. It was a Democratic Republican or whatever, but Federalist, Whigs, Democratic Republicans. Abraham Lincoln, it started out as the anti-slavery party, right? Or the Whigs, anti-slavery party, then became the Republican Party. He was the dark horse candidate. Abraham Lincoln was a dark horse candidate, just like Wendell Willkie. Wendell Willkie was a dark horse candidate too. But eventually Abraham Lincoln takes the Republican mantle. So now the Republican name means, stop with the slavery, stop with the racism. But for Abraham Lincoln, he was going to maintain the Union. That's the Republic. He's a Republican. That totally makes sense. So when people talk about, Abraham Lincoln, he would be not just a founder or the father of the Republican Party. The Civil War was revolutionary. It was the Second American Revolution. And so we are, America is a confederation of republics, right? The state is a republic, and then the country is a republic. So the country is like the big daddy republic over all the 50 children republics. Sort of like that, but they're actually, they're equal. They're equal. And the president has some powers, and then the state has the other powers. But I'm talking about progressive Republicans. And why am I talking about progressive Republicans? I mean, I'm, left wing. I'm an anti-fascist, progressive, socialist, revolutionary. Why the hell would I even be talking about the Republican Party? Well, I'll just pose the question. Does Republican, is there anything about that word, belief in the Republic, contradict an anti-fascist, progressive, socialist, revolutionary? So I'm a progressive, I'm a socialist, revolutionary, anti-fascist. Can I also be a Republican? Is that a possibility? I'll answer that question at the end of my presentation. Now, Abraham Lincoln is a progressive Republican. Abraham Lincoln is a progressive Republican. The things that he did, he freed the slaves, but he did a whole bunch of other things. He had the Homestead Act. The Homestead Act, that's so Robin Hood, that land redistribution, 160 acres for anybody that could scrounge up $100 for the application fee. Just get $100 application fee. You got yourself, just start planting seeds. You got yourself a farm, man. 160 goddamn acres of land out west. Abraham Lincoln's going to start printing up the U.S. Greenback dollar. The dollar's got to be one of the most profound, advances for not just us, but for the entire world. It's the reserve currency. Let's see here. 40 acres and a mule, William Tecumseh Sherman. Let's see, he got us a Thanksgiving holiday. Let's talk about all the accomplishments that Abraham Lincoln did, right? He didn't just go ahead and free the slaves, but he started the National Forest Program. Yosemite was given to California as a state park in 1864, and then that's going to open the door for Teddy Roosevelt. Teddy Roosevelt is going to make 150 national parks, and then it's only going to take a second for that state park to become a national park, Yosemite. So Abraham Lincoln, why do we have Yosemite National Park? Because of Abraham Lincoln. Why do we have Thanksgiving Day? Because of Abraham Lincoln. Why do we have the U.S. Department of Agriculture? You got two major food programs. You got the EBT, food stamp program, and school lunches, which go through the U.S. Department of Agriculture. I'm sure the U.S. Department of Agriculture does other things as well, but in 1862, there wasn't even a U.S. Department of Agriculture. Abraham Lincoln founded that. So like Nixon founded the EPA, Abraham Lincoln founded the U.S. Department of Agriculture. The Homestead Act was passed in 1862. You have a progressive tax, the IRS. So you had a banking act, right? So we're printing up U.S. greenback dollars. We got to have a secret service to make sure people aren't doing counterfeiting, and also had to do a IRS to collect the taxes. It's a progressive tax, so the rich people get taxed more than the poor people. He also passed the Pacific Railroad Acts. In 1862, he was going to try to get the railroad companies to build a transcontinental railroad, so he started that idea. Whole bunch of things Abraham Lincoln did. Yosemite, Secret Service, progressive tax, IRS, the Homestead Act. The Homestead Act is just going to give 4 million Americans, just so many millions of Americans, and my God, land reform. You want to end poverty? Pass out chunks of land. Either give me UBI or give me land reform. I would say out of all the programs in America, that Homestead Act is my favorite. 10% of all the public land in America was given to private homeowners. So it was a massive redistribution of wealth. It was given to private owners, simple farmers, speculators. A lot of people got in on this shit, so a lot of corruption. But the point was to help the homesteader, the little man, the regular, ordinary family man, the working class families of America. And you have a big civil war, right? So you have a big war, but the free soil movement was able to get that homestead passed in 1862. And then I guess by populating the West, you're getting more Americans to go out west. So in a way, they're kind of a bulwark. They're kind of a buffer to fight against some more Confederates. 1863, the U.S. Greenback, Thanksgiving Day. He preserved the Union, okay? He had to fight a damn war, so he doesn't have he did pass the Merrill Land Grant, so he was given colleges some land and buildings, the Merrill Land Grant Act, so he gave money to colleges in 1862. The Free Soil Movement, Homestead Act, Thanksgiving. He saved the Union. So he saved the Republic, the battle hymn of the Republic. In some respect, I may be a better Republic than a lot of Republicans out there because I actually understand what a Republic is. And in some respects, we're kind of an empire. We're not really a Republic, but we are in a Republic in the sense that we're not a bunch of royalists. We don't have a king or queen. We have elections. We have democracy. And you have to have democratic elections and a constitution, 3 branches of government. That all goes to a republic. A republic is a nation state with clear borders. So we have 50 states, but we also have 14 colonies and 900 military bases. So I would say the republic is the 50 states, and we should allow the colonies to be a part of the republic and the military bases. If any of our military bases are attacked, or our colonies, if Guam, Puerto Rico is attacked, that's an attack on us. So we would, fight and save them. So why would we pretend that they're not American? We just militarily oppress them? Is that the point of, if America doesn't have a big stick, are we nobody? I think we need to start treating the world as equals. We can win hearts and minds over by being the cool motherfuckers on the block. We could also help people develop their economies and develop their, irrigation and water and food systems. But hell, our food system's about to go defunct, so what the hell do we know, huh? Can we even help people? Hell, if we don't have that big stick, if we don't have a military, do we even have? So, that's Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln did, Yosemite National Park in California. He was born in Hodgensville, Kentucky, but Kentucky's going to fuck him over when he's like 9 years of age. So that's great, Kentucky, you sons of bitches. And then he goes to Indiana and Illinois, the land of Lincoln. But it was in Indiana, his father had to pay off a whole bunch of debts. And so Abraham Lincoln's father, I want to say Thomas Lincoln, had give Abraham Lincoln to the neighbor to pay for his own debts. So Abraham Lincoln was essentially a slave to the neighbor because his father had, made some agreement or whatever. So just like Nixon, just like Otto von Bismarck, Teddy Roosevelt, you got Clint Eastwood, you got a lot of liberal Republicans out here. Robert Taft, Alf Landon, George Aiken, Robert M. La Follette, William Howard Taft. You know what here's some of the colonies of America, because I know you don't know them. Midway Atoll, Johnston Atoll, Howland Island, Novas Island, Serranía Bank, Jarvis Island, Baker Island, Wake Island, Bajo Nuevo Bank, Palmyra Atoll. So if somebody bombs the Palmyra Atoll, we'll have to go after, the bastards who did it. Because that's the Kingman's Reef Howland Island, Kingman's Reef, Johnston Atoll. So we got one atoll, two atoll. We got a couple banks. We got some islands. And we got a reef. Wake Island. You better not bomb Wake Island, you sons of bitches. Because you fuck with Wake Island, you're fucking with the rest of us. George Romney marched with the Civil Rights Movement. He marched with Martin Luther King. Wendell Willkie, dark horse candidate. Fucking, he's going to die 4 years after he runs. He runs in 1940. He was only 50-something years old when he dies. Freaking crazy. Was he poisoned? Robert A. Taft was virulently anti-war. I think he was against World War II. And Korea and a bunch of other wars too. So let's go back to the question that I had posed. Have I talked about Abraham Lincoln enough? Have I covered all the things about Abraham Lincoln just to make sure? He's the father of the Republican Party. So I would be a Republican that would know who the father of the Republican Party is. And he freed the slaves. The Democrats were the ones that founded the Ku Klux Klan. The Republic, I believe in the Republic. I care about the Republic. The battle hymn of the Republic, I know that during the Civil War, we were playing the battle hymn of the Republic. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Thine eyes have seen the coming of the glory of the Lord. Trampled on the vineyards of the grapes of wrath are stored. Glory, glory, hallelujah. I believe in the Republic because I'm not a royalist. I believe in the Republic because I'm not an imperialist. I believe in the Republic because Ben Franklin said that's what he gave us if we can keep it. I'm not a monarchist. I'm not a royalist. I don't want no king and queen, some royal family ruling over me till the end of all time. Democracy has its flaws, but without democracy, without the consent of the government, then your entire government's illegitimate. So the government has to have at least legitimacy. Star Wars. It was the Republic fighting against the Intergalactic Federation. And so what are we? America, are we not an empire? Or are we a republic? And what should we be? And what would we be if the American people actually voted on this? Anybody ever wonder any of this stuff? Am I the only one? So I posed a question. I'm a progressive socialist, anti-fascist revolutionary. And you know who else was? Goddamn Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln was a progressive socialist revolutionary, anti-fascist. How is he anti-fascist? He freed the fucking slaves. No, you authoritarian, right-wing, fascist, slave-owning, racist sons of bitches. You 1% motherfucking wealthy, rich pieces of... You can't do that, you George Washington... plantation owning, fucking lazy, goddamn torturing sons of bitches, you oppressing, torturing, tyrannical, fascist sons of bitches. He freed the slaves. Can you get any more anti-fascist? And here, black man, here's a gun. Let's get the hell out of here. That was revolutionary. That was the Second American Revolution. Progressive. Did he advance? Did he progress America? Goddamn. Only Moses. Lincoln is spoken in the same subject line as Spartacus and Moses. Spartacus, Moses, was Moses even fucking real? Spartacus, I think, lost, right? He tried to do a slave rebellion, but the Roman Empire persevered. So Spartacus, he was no Arminius, right? Spartacus was no Arminius. So Lincoln is like the greatest slave liberator on the face of the fucking planet. And then once America does it, so goes the world. America just said slavery was bullshit. Karl Marx admired Abraham Lincoln, and Abraham Lincoln, he was asked the question, does he care more about capital or labor? Does he care about buildings and land and goods? Is he a capitalist or is he a socialist? That's what the question is asking. Do you care about labor, the people, the rabble, the little man, the people that provide, the working families out there? Or do you care about the capital, the people that own all the fucking, all the machines and the means of production? And Abraham Lincoln, he says, well, if I must take a consideration between the two, it's all wordy and shit. But essentially he says, I must err on the side of labor. And of course, who would be against the people? Labor is the people. The labor is the bulk of the masses. Capital is just what? A couple rich fuckers? And it's just buildings. It's just, goddamn, you don't need some. If you had a good manager, right? We need great managers out there, but hell, any person could probably be trained to be a pretty decent fucking leader or manager. You don't need some capitalist piece of shit. The working class can run the machines. They can run everything. And again, he freed the slaves. So when it came to the plantation, get your 40 acres and a mule, the black man can run his own, farm. When the black man stops on the farm, the whole thing stops. When the working class stops, the whole thing stops. And because Abraham Lincoln actually experienced the kind of slavery when his father, Thomas, had, given him to the neighbor to pay off his own debts, like a dirty, rotten, fucking, degenerate fucking father. Abraham Lincoln learned that slavery is bullshit. Why the fuck should I work for this asshole? Because you're indebted to him. What's that got to do with me? What does that have to do with me? But instead, I got to get, fucking yelled at and hollered, and he's got to fucking do this, do that, and I got to waste my goddamn life because you made bad decisions. In Kentucky, there was 3 different farms that he lived on. So part of it was speculators, lawyers. Kentucky had fucked over Abraham Lincoln and Daniel Boone. Like, 2 of the greatest Kentuckians ever. If you're going to put a face on the Mount Rushmore of Kentucky, who would that be? Goddamn Muhammad Ali? Fucking Johnny Depp? The Colonel? It'd be Abraham Lincoln. It'd be motherfucking Muhammad Ali, Abraham Lincoln, and the Daniel Boone. And yet Kentucky fucked over 2 of the greatest Kentuckians ever. Abraham Lincoln boarded Kentucky. Daniel Boone moved into Kentucky. But Daniel Boone became like a politician. He was like and he brought his whole family to, there's Boone County. And then they'll build all these monuments and shit afterwards. Go to Hodgkinsville or whatever, where Lincoln was born. And yeah, there's his house, but it was a replica. So we'll put a historical thing on top of it, but we didn't give a shit when he was there. Anyways, so let's define our terms. Progressive is to move forward, to make better, to improve. Did Abraham Lincoln progress America? He did. Socialist, he was on the side of labor. He helped lots of working class families, not just, the black man who he freed, but also all those homesteaders who got 160 acres. They had nothing, and then all of a sudden they were farmers. So a bunch of nobodies became farmers. That helped, working class families, helped the immigrants, war effort, whatever he was trying to do. But so Abraham Lincoln, he is the father of the Republican Party. He was a believer in the Republic. He's actually the one who made America more, centralized America more. So America is more of a union, a republic together because of Abraham Lincoln. The Civil War was revolutionary. Anti-fascist, progressive. Anti-fascist means you're just not an authoritarian asshole. So he's very conversational. That's how he was able to get pass his legislation, get elected, and get revolutionary, socialist, progressive. Yes, and yes. So Abraham Lincoln, the father of the Republican Party, was an anti-fascist, progressive, socialist, revolutionary. So is it possible? Of course it's possible. There's nothing about loving the republic, the nation state, which to me seems immortal. Colorado, America, California, New York, they seem immortal to me. But you can love the republic. You can love Colorado, nestled in America, and also be progressive, socialist, anti-fascist, revolutionary. Those are not contradictions.